Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So it's Cheltenham tomorrow, and free members, if you've been following my videos, you'll know most of my selections anyway, but just in case you don't, here are my thoughts for the races tomorrow. Obviously I will not be able to show you the ratings because that's for premium and pro members. You will see the ratings for the first race of each day and all of them on Friday because it's always free Friday, but you'll see the first race because the first race every day is also always free. So let's get on with tomorrow's racing, and we'll start off with the Supreme Novices. Now, Il Était Tom has come out top rated, but I think he's a false top rated. We're giving him that high performance because of his last time out effort, where they went so hard and he's ended up picking up the pieces essentially because of how the race was run. It may well be run similar, you know, there could be something in this race that goes off nice and hard, but I think there'll be other horses that also like that strong pace. And for me, I think this is still out of the two, Facile Vega and Marine Nationale. Nothing particularly original there or interesting. They are the front two in the market, and to be honest, I think before, if you took the last run out, Facile Vega would be odds on, and I'm very surprised that it's not, you know, 6-4. To be honest, you know, they're drifting. Il Était Tamura's in the pocket getting backed. The front two are drifting. I mean, the 11-4 about Facile Vega I think is way too big. It wouldn't surprise me if the Willie Mullins Facile Vega got absolutely smashed up tomorrow morning, shortened, you know, into 6-4 sort. 6-4 sort of thing by off time. I really think that the likes of Fenner Cross or even Dark Raven, they may put that in the race to go forward for Willie Mullins, Dark Raven, and to make sure it's not a sprint and it's not a bit of a messy race. And if that happens, I think we'll see Facile Vega showing that he's actually the 2-miler in the race. And yeah, I'd be very disappointed if Facile Vega didn't take all of the beating here. The biggest danger, Marine Nationale, definitely will be even better over fences. I hate those phrases, but he'll be even better over fences. I really was impressed with the way he quickened last time to get up after not getting the clearest of runs. As I said, if you've been following my videos, I highlighted Marine Nationale earlier this season and Facile Vega a few weeks ago after it got beat, when they pushed it out to a price that was way too big. That's always a good thing to look at in anti-post markets. If you're pretty confident they're going to run, if they get beat and you can give them an excuse, the bookmakers react and go, oh, let's, you know, put it out to 4s, 5s, and they overreact. And then after a few days it starts coming back in because people are like, actually, that's now too big. So for me, I think it's out of those two, Facile Vega and Marine Nationale. The second race on the card is the Arkle, and you can see I've hidden the ratings now for the rest of the races. So who do I like here? I think El Fabiolo is the one to beat here, and I think the participation of Dysart Dynamo is the big key in this race. I said earlier this season that I felt El Fabiolo could go up in trip, and I still believe he could go up in trip, and I think it's because of this why I think he wins tomorrow. Because Dysart Dynamo is going to go forward and going to make the running, and I don't think you can really control Dysart Dynamo. Similar to how they couldn't control him in the Supreme Novice last year. He'll go forward, he'll make the running, and he'll just go a little bit too hard and end up costing himself any chance of winning the race. But with that in mind, I think El Fabiolo has that stamina and has that ability to come through late on and run past them all and go away from John Bon, who I think is a really good horse. You know, don't get me wrong, he is a top class grade 1 horse, but I just wonder whether he's got quite the stamina of El Fabiolo, and the way the race is going to be set up I think will suit El Fabiolo. They're just about maybe going to go off favourite, potentially El Fabiolo. It's all about who gets the more money. Is it going to be the English or the Irish that put down more money tomorrow? I imagine it'll be the Irish, so I think El Fabiolo will go off the clear favourite. I've actually suggested that I don't mind having a bet on Facile Vega, El Fabiolo. You could put all of these into multiples. Constitution Hill and Gaillard de Menil in the last, who we will come on to. So, moving on to the third race, the Ultima Handicap. Now, I'm potentially being a bit silly here, but I'm putting all of my eggs in one basket, in a way. And what I mean by that is, I've got 3 in this race. 2 that I've highlighted and 1 that I'm going to add today, because you can still get 18 to 1 about him. And that horse is Fantasticas. But let me go through the 3 that I like. Correct Rambler. Last year won this off 140 up to 146. He won it with a bit more in hand than just the £6 that he went up. They've looked after him this year. He's a Grand National hope. That would be my only concern about him, is that he's also in the Grand National. If it comes down to it at the finish, are they going to really get stuck in and really ask him for all of his effort with the Grand National in mind? Potentially, they might be a little bit careful on him late on. The second horse that I like from this race is up £5 from last year, and he finished 3rd. That was Oscar Elite. Now, he, I think, has continued to improve. He obviously won a graded race last time, albeit it was an easy grade 2. But we know he likes Cheltenham. He runs well at the Cheltenham Festival. This has surely been the plan. I imagine winning at, I think it was Kempton, was it, that he won, wasn't the plan. It was at Ascot that he won. Wasn't the plan to go up in a handicap. Although it might have been that he needed to in the end. He was not that far off the bottom. I think he'll run another solid race, and I've highlighted both of those earlier this week, or Correct Rambler ages ago. You can see the good money for Correct Rambler at the moment. Oscar Elite not so much at the moment, but I think there will be tomorrow. And the third horse that you definitely have to have a look at is Fantasticas. Now, last year, Correct Rambler went off 10 to 1 for the race, and he's £6 higher this year, and he's the 13 to 2 favourite. Last year, Oscar Elite went off 22 to 1. He's 11 to 1 this year, and he's £5 higher. Last year, Fantasticas went off 8 to 1 for this race. He's £12 lower this year, and he was only beaten 13 lengths. He actually turned into the straight in 4th. If you took £12 off, or essentially he's going to be £17 better off with Correct Rambler. No, £17 better off with Oscar Elite, and £18 better off with Correct Rambler. That's far too big a price. 18 to 1. He was bigger yesterday. It is one that I definitely overlooked. It's all about whether this has been the long-term plan with him, and I'm thinking that the money for him may well have been that, yes, this was the long-term plan. Obviously, the owners have got a good record at Cheltenham. They've had Imperial Commander obviously win a Gold Cup, but he won a Paddy Power Gold Cup on the way to that in November. He then won the Ryanair. They had Imperial Aura win the 2.5 handicap chase, the novice handicap chase that's now no longer at Cheltenham. And they also had last year Imperial Alcazar finished 2nd in the Temps final, went off 7 to 2 that day. So I think they've tried something different this year. Instead of having a horse come in there bang in form, they've targeted this race with a horse who looks bang out of form. But I think this could have been a long-term plan for them to come back this year. He's only 8. It's not like he's a 10-year-old dropping down the weights, and because he's regressing. It's probably been that this has been the plan. And with he kind of reminds me of the likes of Vintage Clouds, who ran a good race one year, came back the following year off a lower mark and actually won the race. Fantasticas has got to have a big chance. If he runs anywhere, or if he runs to his level last year, he goes very, very close. Moving on to the Champion Hurdle, Constitution Hill wins this. Really confident on that one. I think State Man will run well, but be 6, 7, 8 lengths behind in 2nd, and then I have no idea who's 3rd. It could be a long way back to 3rd. Yeah, probably Vauban, I guess. Maybe Zanahir. So yeah, there's not a lot more to talk about. I think Constitution Hill wins that, and I do believe in a few years' time we'll be saying he definitely is the best horse we've ever seen. On to the Mayor's Hurdle. What a Mayor's Hurdle this is. Epatante, Honeysuckle, Brandy Love, Echoes in Rain, Marie's Rock, all of them run. Love Envoy, they all run. Super race. At the beginning of the season, I was quite keen on Brandy Love, and I have had a bet on Brandy Love at the beginning of the season because I didn't think Honeysuckle and I didn't think Epatante would be turning up. I thought it was going to be potentially Brandy Love versus Marie's Rock, and I was happy with Brandy Love. If I was backing them now, I probably wouldn't do Brandy Love. I have had a bet on another one, and that's Epatante. I don't think her form, I don't think she has regressed, whereas I think Honeysuckle has regressed. And I'll give you a little bit of insight here. Our figures do kind of suggest that Epatante hasn't, whereas Honeysuckle has. Epatante's 2 defeats to Constitution Hill, there's nothing wrong with that. Constitution Hill wins the Champion Hurdle. And then last time out at Doncaster, Epatante looked much better back in a race that she could actually win. Yeah, I think we know she's got the ability. It's all about the trip for her, and I think she'll get the trip. She has won at Aintree over 2.5. So yeah, I'm quite keen on Epatante here to beat Honeysuckle and Marie's Rock. Marie's Rock will definitely stay the trip, but I just think if they can ride Epatante confidently and keep her in just behind her main rivals, I think she's the one that will take all of the beating here. Moving on to the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Hurdle. Obviously we've highlighted 2 of these in 3 videos before. Perseus Way, disappointing that he finished second, but you could say he should have won a grade 2, so you've almost got a grade 2 winner running in a handicap. Is that going to be good enough form? It could well be. The other horse that I've highlighted for this race before is Sir Alan. He won for us at Naas, winning that race. That 3 of the last 4 winners have won this race. So that's very interesting. I thought he battled really well that day, and I think if it wasn't trained by Andrew Slattery, I think it'd be a much shorter price. I think it'd be nearly favourite, particularly with that 3 of the last 4 winners have gone on to win this race. I think that would be much stronger if it wasn't trained by Andrew Slattery. The last horse I've talked about a few days ago that I think you should be having a look at, I've had a bet on, is Samuel Spade. Samuel Spade won at Kempton in a introductory juvenile hurdle before then finishing second to Perseus Way, giving Perseus Way £8. Only beaten 3 lengths. If you took that on merit, there's probably not a lot between them. He then came back out and won a novice hurdle, beating older horses, winning by 16 lengths. Now, if we have a look at their prices, Perseus Way 12s and 14s, Samuel Spade you can still get 22s. I think that's too big. I would have him nigh on the same price as Perseus Way on that form, and if Perseus Way hadn't won that graded race, there wouldn't be a lot between them. But Samuel Spade's running off 126, Perseus Way off 132, so he's now £6 the other way, so there's £14 difference. Samuel Spade has got £14, a £14 pull for 3 lengths with Perseus Way. So if you like Perseus Way, I think you should definitely like Samuel Spade as well. The final race of the day is the National Hunt Challenge Cup, where Gaillard de Menil, yeah, he's going to take all the beating, isn't he? I've also had a bet on Mr. Coffee, because, you know, I'm a big fan of Mr. Coffee, and if he's the one, if there's one horse that we don't know quite what we're going to get, it's Mr. Coffee, and he could be that now he's going over even further. It could work, work a treat for him. Gaillard de Menil's form, though, it's top quality form. We know he gets this trip because he finished 3rd in an Irish National. I think Gaillard de Menil, Constitution Hill, you could put El Fabiolo in trebles or a 4 with Facile Vega. I really like them 4, I think. But yeah, I've done a nice double, Gaillard de Menil and Constitution Hill. So yeah, I'd be very surprised if Gaillard de Menil wasn't at least in the front two. It's all about what Mr. Coffee shows, personally. So yeah, there's my thoughts. Facile Vega is a nice price now, I think, for the Supreme Novice. Marine Nationale, I think, is the biggest danger. El Fabiolo, I'm pretty confident, takes all the beating in the Arkle because of the way the race is going to be run. The three from last year, Correct Rambler, Oscar Elite and Fantasticas in the Ultima. Constitution Hill wins the Champion Hurdle. I hope Epatante wins the Mayor's Hurdle. I think she hasn't regressed, whereas Honeysuckle has. The three in the Boodles, which are Perseus Way, Sir Alan and Samuel Spade. And the final 1/2, Gaillard de Menil takes all the beating in the 3 mile 5 race to end the day, but Mr. Coffee has to have a bet on him as well, just in case this extra trip and the way the race is going to be run suits him.